Everybody approve the minutes?
Right.
Yeah.
It looks like everybody does that. Okay, now we are going to hear Dorothy and her update.
Yes, I will make it brief. I did send the stats. I think, since you guys got them ahead of time, I will not painfully go through everything. I think the best process is just if you have questions about anything, let me know. Does anyone have any questions on anything? I did do the transportation a little bit different. So I did people, that's duplicated, unduplicated, and then I did trips. Because I think that's always the question of like how many, which was it? So hopefully that'll sort of help you guys get a better picture in your mind too.
So I do have a question on that, Dorothy.
Sure.
The first one where it says there were 284 duplicated, but then when you break it down to 144 and 288, I don't know how you get to the 284.
So it can be, it's duplicated people, right? So it's the people,
Oh,
284
okay.
duplicated,
People.
but the rides, those are the rides.
Got
So
it.
sometimes somebody might take 6 rides, somebody might take one-way ride somewhere. So it's not always going to balance out. Does that make sense?
Thinking it was the people.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's why I did it that way, because I think everybody was questioning, was it rides, people?
Yep.
Anyone else have any other questions? All right, so I will just kind of go through a couple of highlights. So the Veterans Cafe is doing fabulous. We have a really great turnout. We went from 4 members to 12, which is great, and they're really enjoying it and getting to know each other. They're all coming to programs together. It's a really nice, beautiful thing. We are working on the hybrid program library. So what we're trying to do is record all the things we're doing and get them up on the Vimeo or YouTube channel that the town has. So I'm working with Devin on that. And we're going to figure out how to get the analytics from that for the grant reporting. That's why I haven't sort of posted a lot of things, because I want to know who's actually watching and viewing, because that's so important to support what we're doing. But funny story, Wendy was taking a walk the other day and got stopped by someone she didn't know, who said, "I recognize you. I'm taking your exercise class online."
Good.
So that sort of like really spearheaded this to move forward, because I felt like if there's one person, we don't know how many more are out there actually, you know, watching what we've been posting to date. So that's going to be hopefully happening.
I did it this morning before I came here because I didn't have time to go to class. Like,
see,
yep.
Yeah. So I've got to figure out that
I can skip the stuff I don't like.
Yeah. Right, yeah. That's right. So that's great. I think you guys all know we were nominated for the Massachusetts Broadband Institute hybrid program award. I don't know if we'll win, but hey, like, isn't it great that we actually got recognized and nominated?
Yep.
So I thought that was awesome. Tech drop-in sessions. Alex, our high school student, is just like amazing, you guys. If you haven't met him, please stop by and say hello. It's been a little disjointed because we didn't know his schedule, but now we've kind of got everything in black and white. So moving forward, we'll be able to better plan instead of just like the quick e-blasts, which is what we've been doing to date. But even with those e-blasts, he's had a line out the door of people coming for help and support. So that's great.
So it's one-on-one help.
He's been doing, yeah, and then he's doing programs as well. So I'm super excited for November. He's going to do 2 programs. One is how to safely shop online, with part 2 of how to find Black Friday deals online.
So Dorothy, who is this again for the minutes?
Alex Maldecker. He's a senior from Nassau High School, and he's doing his senior project with us at the COA.
Senior high school. So
Yeah.
he's doing sort of tech assistance programs?
Yeah, so he's supporting all of like our hybrids program model that we're working on.
Okay.
So he's supporting all that with programs, tech help, and he's coming up with program ideas of what he thinks would be beneficial. So we've met, we meet weekly and, kind of catch up on those.
Didn't you hire 2 other people to help with hybrid programs? Oh,
They're still doing it, so like Harriet's running, I think you'll see a lot of different programs, like she's doing a Lifeline, environmental, those different programs. And then John is also running some other programs and he helps support Alex with the drop-ins.
These are
Because there are a
part-timers.
lot of drop-ins.
Harriet and John are part-timers.
Yeah, so they were all hired through the grant and then, Alex is volunteering.
Okay.
So he's doing it for a senior project, so between the 3 of them, it's doing really well, which is great. And you saw some of those stats from, to date, or January through July. And then I just wanted to share, about the Ask a Dietitian program that kicked off in August. So that's basically one-on-one, seniors can come in and that's through the VMA and the health department. They did do a hydration station last month or this month when they were here. So that's one focus we've been trying to work with them on it. Also, I'm working with, I just heard from the nurse lead through Nauset School Systems, and they have a hydroponic gardening program that they got a grant for. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but all the schools have these, I guess, gardens inside, and they're trying to encourage people, kids to eat healthy and how to grow. So she reached out to me to see if we have any seniors that might be interested in helping on these. So I'm trying to figure out what that's going to look like. So we're working together on that. And then, let's see, we've got November, December are busy with holiday happenings. We've got our veterans program. We're actually going to live stream like what we did last year. I don't know if you guys remember, but we had a bunch of different organizations from Veterans Outreach come and present. We're going to stream that out. So hopefully more people will be engaged in that. We're also having our luncheon. We're going to do the holiday dinner at the lunch at the Elks. And then we also have Eastham Elementary coming for the multi-generational holiday performance and lunch. So we've got some big ones coming up, which is always good.
and is the Elks lunch the people that get the, I can't remember.
It's the reassurance, yeah,
Reassurance,
mainly focused in on the reassurance, but we do invite everyone else. There's not a ton of people on that list, it's probably about 15 to 20, I'd say. I haven't looked at it recently, but we encourage everyone else to go.
It's a holiday luncheon?
Yeah, it's a holiday
Right.
luncheon. So
Yeah,
police
that
and
lunch.
fire and the town kind of gets involved in that.
Yeah,
And anyone from the board.
All the guys with the uniforms are up there and talking and stuff.
Yeah, and they help serve, and
Yeah.
it's just really a nice way to kind of connect the
I went.
community too. Yeah.
Now the Veterans Cafe, could you expand upon that? I don't know much about that.
Sure, so that started off as, the Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, we had the Seaside Cafe. So we
Right,
actually took Seaside Cafe, which is just a coffee, people get together and chat and play cards or have breakfast treats, whatever it might be. On Thursdays, we rolled it into specifically for veterans.
oh, so Thursdays has become part of the carve-out part of that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So like Monday, we have trivia, Tuesday's cribbage as part of Seaside Cafe, and then
Okay.
Thursdays focused in
So
on
this is a
veterans.
subset.
Yeah, but all are welcome. I mean, they are happy, it's not, they're talking about everything, so Peter, who was featured in our September, October newsletter this month, has really been spearheading a lot of this group, and he's just excellent and all welcoming to everyone, so. And then one email I received, I just want to share with you guys. This is regarding John and his help that he's been providing for our members for hybrid and tech. So I'll just read it. I just wanted to extend my gratitude and thanks to the Eastham Council on Aging for providing the technical assistance program. It was quite helpful and extremely timely. My wife, Lorraine, who has been diagnosed with adult memory loss, needed to attend a critical medical appointment with her neurologist. Given that the doctor is located in Hyannis, approximately 25 miles away, she does not travel well. It was not at all convenient to have her go to the appointment in person. Through working with John as part of this newly offered program, we were able to successfully and productively have a remote meeting via the doctor's remote software. The process was seamless and experience terrific. John did a great job supporting us through the entire process. We are so grateful for this option, and we will plan on doing it again with this doctor and potentially with other doctors and medical service providers. Thank you so much for including the support service in the groups of services that the Eastham Council on Aging so effectively provides. It truly is a blessing.
It's great.
Now, is there funding other, because in my mind, if a patient is visiting with a doctor remotely and you're doing a service to make that happen, it's an advantage to Medicare and Medicaid that you're doing that. And I'm just wondering if there's any money.
Well, that's what the grant is.
Okay, so
the grant is, creating digital equity for our seniors. Yes, it's hybrid programming, but within that, there's all these branches, right? So the state is actually funding John's salary to support this program, right?
Okay.
Through that hybrid program grant.
So did we facilitate that through our equipment, or did John go there and help them get set up on Zoom? How did it work?
Yeah, it's through his equipment, their own equipment, because she's kind of not able to.
They're worried about privacy and stuff like that.
Yeah, no. I mean, he wasn't part of it. He just figured out how to let them, how to get them
set up.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
No,
awesome.
with HIPAA, we can't be involved in the actual call itself.
Yeah, no, that's big.
But that's a big focus. I mean, yes, all these programs are awesome and fun, but there's so much more to this, right? It's the social isolation, it's the doctor's appointments. There's so many facets to virtual hybrid, programs and experiences. So we are putting a concentrated effort on that. And that's one thing Alex and I actually talked about as well. He's probably going to do something about telehealth and how to kind of get that going. So we're hoping to incorporate that as a program, as well as prescriptions, because a lot of things you can do online, right? You can set up a refill, automatic refills. Some people hate calling on the phone. They can't get through, very frustrated. So we're going to kind of do a deeper dive into that. And I'm going to speak with Cape Cod Healthcare and the VNA, as well as for that and my chart. Everybody knows my chart, as well as Quest Labs, how to make appointments. So some of those things I'd really like to incorporate as well, but with their guidance, because it's their app, right? So I want them to kind of come show our members how to do it, and then we can kind of support people as they need help further.
Just so you know, the Quest in Orleans is closed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, sadly.
Yeah, but there was a draw station on Old Colony behind the right near Nauset Medical Center.
Right.
In the back there.
Lab, I don't believe you can do appointments. So that's
you just
a great option for those that can't. But for those that do, I mean, I've experienced it myself at Quest, where I see an older adult coming in, they have no appointment. There's this device, they walk in, they have no idea how to use it. All the phlebotomists are in the back drawing blood because they're so short staffed. And here's this person that needs to have their blood drawn and they don't know what to do.
Yeah, well, I encountered that at Wellfleet when I came into, and I went to the main desk. There's a person sitting behind the desk, and they go like this. Oh, we don't have anything to that. You gotta do that. That's okay.
Right. So, and I'm not faulting anyone.
The hand was going like this,
I know that they're short-staffed and they're being pushed in this direction, but how do we mitigate that, and how do we help, and how do we support the seniors to get what they need, right? Because they're just being thrown into all of this. COVID kind of escalated everything, and now there's all this digital stuff and they don't know how to navigate it, and they're being forced to do it. And I think that's part of this support from the state with this grant, is they realize that there needs to be more digital equity, in all facets, you know, whether you can afford internet at home, whether you know how to use a device, do you have a device, you know, there's all these different categories.
Well, there's a frustration level with older people too. If they get bounced out twice, they're, oh, forget it.
Right, and that's what we're trying to create. That's okay, no worries. We're trying to create a world of like how to let technology actually improve your quality of life, right? Rather than getting frustrated, not knowing how to use it, just giving up. It's how do we use these things to help us, you know, stay safe, be healthy, connect with others, you know, all these different things that we're trying to help them navigate. And listen, sometimes I'm on the same train where I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this, you know? So everybody gets there, and we've been doing it for so long, right? And there's a lot of people that brand new, and it's very difficult.
I have a related question, and that is, it came up through my sister who brings my mother, 91-year-old mother, to the appointment in Waltham. That for $20, CVS will actually deliver the medications to the home. Do they do that here?
Yeah.
Although I've tried to have medication,
Well, they never did.
and it was a long wait. Like it was like within 7 days or something, and most people, that's not too practical.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's as timely and efficient.
Okay, so question.
Yeah.
Local availability.
Has anyone tried using Amazon for that?
No, not yet.
No.
Yeah.
They just
Something
started
to
that
explore
service.
They started it, but I haven't used it.
I'm gonna explore that. I'm gonna actually have Alex look into that, because maybe that's a good option.
Well, I'm sure they want to be in that space. So,
Right.
and they're very competitive.
That company that would do the pill packs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They bought them, yeah.
Yeah, that packaged up what you need to take at every different point.
Right.
Carol?
Dorothy, as far as it goes, Comcast, I mean, is down at the very base of this whole entire thing. As far as it goes, is, you know, internet. And trying to talk to a human being or get anything done is support.
Yeah.
I mean, I went around in circles and circles and circles and circles.
Yeah.
And there's so much even spam or fraud that's going out.
Right. Well, those were some
you're...
of the things that Alex did address this month. We did a program on that. So we're really just trying to educate and help people kind of figure out like what's legit and what's not. And, you know, we've all been caught. I've seen something, you know, we take these cyber tests through the town to make sure that, you know, we're looking out for scams and things like that. And they're really good.
Yeah,
I mean, they really are. It's pretty scary.
Sometimes it's just a difference of a letter.
Right,
you know,
exactly.
Font,
Exactly.
How it is.
Yeah. So that's something we're focusing on too. So all of these areas, right? There's so much. There really is. So we're really just scratching the surface, I feel like, at this point. You know, there is potential to extend this grant come March, so hopefully we will. You know, I'm getting very good feedback from our support team. So I'm hopeful that, you know, we can reapply and continue what we're doing.
So in order to extend it, you have to submit data showing the effectiveness of what you're doing?
Yeah, so I ran a report from January through July was the first report that they did. We did a preliminary, this was the interim, and then we'll do a final, and then we'll do a wrap. So the next subset will be August through February, and the grant actually ends at the end of March. And I haven't been told yet how to reapply. We haven't gone down that road yet. But we're working really hard to try to do a really good job so that we can continue, because I think, you know, at the very least, the support for all these things we're talking about, we really need it.
Tech support, yeah.
It was so much of it. And again, I mean, it's just like, we're here, you know, it's not even the future, right? Like, we're here, and it's only going to get harder. And there's gonna be more, everything's just gonna be digital, right? So. Does anyone have any other questions?
Well, thank you, Dorothy. Sounds like a great month. Okay, so for my report, where's Elaine? I was gonna have her introduce herself, but she's not here.
Did you send her an invite? And an agenda?
I did not do well. And getting everything ready for this meeting.
Well, I did include her in my mailing list,
Oh, you
because
did?
I had this
Yeah.
little COA recipient list, and I added her to that.
So,
Yeah.
but I want to apologize to everyone because for the rocky start. I wasn't sure who was sending what, and then I didn't investigate it properly. So I will do better next month. But I have had Elaine Lipton join us, and Elaine is a longtime resident of Eastham. I know her through Lower Cape TV. She has been on several boards in Eastham. She was on the Human Services Committee in the past. She has worked for a COA. She has had her dad be in the Eastham Council on Aging as a person who received a lot of services. So she's been on both sides of councils on aging. She has done a lot of work in the town. I don't have a resume right in front of me, but it's an extensive amount of contact with, I was gonna say humans, but a lot of public service work that Elaine has done. She's she's a serious person with a great sense of humor. I think she'll be a wonderful addition. She's very thoughtful. She doesn't go on and on and on. She's just lovely. And I think she'll be a great addition to the team. We had another person that I spoke with about it, coming on the board, who would have been a lovely addition as well. Her background was less a fit, but she would have been a very interesting addition. She had a very computer-based background and very statistical. And I think that would have also been a wonderful addition. But I felt with Elaine, with her background very specifically, with the Council on Aging background, would just fit in very well.
What did she do with the Council on Aging? Was she on a board?
No, I think she worked with the Council on Aging. She worked with the Council on Aging years ago.
As a consultant or?
No. Employee.
Oh, an employee, okay.
Yeah, and I think it was Wellfleet.
Okay.
So she does have that experience too.
Okay.
Sounds like a great fit.
Yeah, I
Awesome.
think she will be.
Cape Cod TV too, right?
Lower Cape TV. Yeah.
Lower Cape TV.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
and she's setting up an app that will show all of the arts-related activities that are going on, that you're going to be able to search by town, by type of activity,
Wow.
by day, and all of that. And it's an interesting app. So when it comes out, we can share what it is when it comes out. So I sent out a lot of stuff, and I hope people gave it a glance at least. And basically, the board resource guide that came out in May of this year essentially was saying that we are an advisory board, that we're not the boss of Dorothy, and we are here to help her, to advise her as we can, to engage with her, and just to help her as much as possible. So to that end, I do have a summary of the stuff. I think I sent it to you all as well, of what we're supposed to do. So myself, Mindy, and Dorothy have been meeting once a month to kind of figure out, what does she need? How can we help her? What are the different things that we can do? So we came up with, our goals so far are to do a building update. We need to get it to the more ADA compliant. We're not going to get to 100%. And there's apparently a report that was done that has come out that I haven't seen it. Have you seen it yet?
I have not actually seen it.
So the survey's been done for months, but we were waiting on that report.
So
Yeah.
That's the town one.
it was shared with me, I don't know if you experienced the report yet, but the report is very vague and generic. It is not really, like, I thought it was sort of gonna be a little magical.
Right.
Me too.
Roadmap, these
Yeah.
things need to be, it's not that.
It's not that
No
at
problem,
all.
it's just that stuff.
It really is just very generic and it's like cookie cutter. So they look at the life and let's say shingles, and they don't look at like what they didn't look at what our shingles look like, for example, but they're looking at they're X years old, so they may need to be replaced in X time frame. They also did not factor into our regional area how much everything costs here.
No.
So Rich has taken it and he's really kind of like changing a lot with it based on what our actual costs will be, longevity. So it really is not helpful. So I think we really should use what we have in existence, because some of those older reports are more helpful. And
Oh, they were very
detailed.
granular. They were.
Yeah.
That was like 3 years ago, right?
Yeah, two.
But it's still relevant,
Oh, yeah.
you know, I mean, we can just add +3, right? Like however many years it was and kind of look at all these different things. Those
Right.
were a lot more helpful than what this was. Again, I thought this was sort of like sum everything up for us, what we've
Yeah.
been talking
It would have
about.
been so easy.
Yeah,
We would have had like a roadmap.
yeah,
Well, Karen went through the building.
yeah,
Karen is the vice chair of the Friends. And Karen went through the building and wrote what she thought were the most important considerations. And I think there were 5, 8.
Yeah, there were a number of things, everything
Yeah.
from signage and access,
Right.
multiple doors with, it's very confusing when you first arrive at
Right,
the senior
right.
center.
Yeah.
Where you
Yeah.
go, where you park, how you should enter.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of changes that should happen.
So I think maybe what we should do, in the near future is to look at what we believe are the most, or look at these things that are glaring.
Right.
Like there are no stops in the parking lot. And so.
We did stompectomy because people were tripping on them when they migrated.
Yeah,
But now the cars are parking in front of them.
but now the cars are blocking the pathway.
Right.
But you could do exactly what we do at the landfill, you have a tall post in the center
Right.
of where you drive the spot, you see the post in front of you, you know you're not gonna hit it, because otherwise you're gonna dent your car.
Yeah,
And that blocks off the walkway, so there are options, we just have to.
Those are excellent ideas.
Yeah.
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 That's a
There's
great
some very
idea.
cute little old ladies drive right over there.
those
They
options.
like
have-
And you don't
They
even
aim
know
for the
they're
middle.
coming at
Let's
you.
go for the middle. They take that Mercedes thing.
Yeah.
I did request that option a while ago, just FYI, so.
Yeah, an easy fix.
Yeah,
Sometimes things are easy, sometimes we just have to get creative. So
Right.
I go right across that center block, they
Right.
drive over that as well.
Well, the other thing I
You
thought
guys,
about.
I know it was like 10 hours. those
And you're on the
things were
other
gone,
side,
and
you
I'm
don't
like,
even know where they came from.
The other thing I thought about with those parking bumpers is what I've seen other places is there's holes in them. And you just take a piece of rebar that's about this long and pound it down and it's not gonna go anywhere. They're gonna stay there.
And also, you know, when, when we did the refresh and I was painting the windows, half of the windows in there are rotted.
Right,
And
yeah,
bug infested.
that's on the list as
and,
well,
Yeah.
yeah.
so we can go through and just look at what do we think are the most urgent and also things that are economically feasible. And Joan, we wanted to look at that, the funds that you had gotten and see if we could use those for the ADA compliance. And just see what we can do that's financially feasible, that would work out, that would help everyone. And
What are these
just
again?
not
Well,
wait for the town to approve it. We want to look at what the Friends can do.
but we have money in
We
the
do have
building.
money in
for
the capital fund,
Yeah.
for sure. I think the process is more like not doing too much at once.
Right.
So I think
Yeah, we don't
that's
want to bring attention to it.
part of the
I
hiccup,
want
so
to be stepped.
I think we have the money in there, it's just like, I think we need to, I think we had a building committee, right? Did we have one?
Mm.
A long
Yeah.
time ago,
A long
we were
time
just
ago.
looking at COAs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
um, So maybe it's looking at and kind of tiering everything.
That was a future community center looking at the other COAs
Right.
Yeah.
kind of thing.
But I think there's a lot of smaller things that will make a big difference that we can definitely spearhead.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
the big one is if you look at your assessed value and you stay below 50%,
Right,
then
we
you
don't
don't have
to
to get the new elevator, you don't have to get the sprinkler system, you don't have to spend millions of dollars.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a while before anything happens, let's be honest, so
That's
we
what I-
really have to figure out what is the real priority
Yeah.
and what's gonna make the most impact,
If we
for
stay in
us.
that building for 10 years, which we certainly could based on some of the things
Exactly.
Jackie has said recently, you know, I do think we need to look at a new elevator. I
Yeah,
mean, we have people who come in
Right.
with that lower entrance.
and that was in our original,
It was.
report from EMC
Yeah.
that
Oh, I
we
know.
did need a new, I mean, all those numbers, obviously, what it's gonna cost is totally fictitious.
Yeah.
because
Really cool.
they weren't real then and now, yeah. So there's
No,
definitely, so I think maybe looking at that report from EMC, if we can, reform our building committee, I think that would be really a great start.
That was the one from Falmouth, people from Falmouth or?
No, it was even prior to that, it was, oh, God, I wanna say 5+ years
Oh,
ago.
yeah, the really detailed one?
Yeah, it's really small.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think looking through that and just, again, just like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, based on, you know, priority, ease, right, and budget, right? So I think if we can kind of look at those different things, I think that would be very helpful. And, you know, maybe even working with the friends as well, if there's some supplemental, areas, right? Like if we're not covered with the town for some things, maybe the friends can support in some
yeah.
way.
From my vantage point, you know, having been a geriatrician in my distant life and looking at, fallen trip hazards, that would be where I would want to spend the initial money is surfaces that aren't slippery, handrails, anything that.
Ramps. The ramps getting in and out.
Ramps, lighting,
Yeah,
clutter, anything like that. Those are big ones as far as fall hazards.
One of my biggest pet peeves is the access road that goes around that
Yep.
building.
Yeah.
Everyone is walking from the parking lot and crossing in
Yeah.
front of cars that are in a hurry to leave. They've just gotten out of their program, they're in a hurry to leave, and you've got people crossing. It's a setup for disaster.
Oh, yeah.
Even as
Yeah.
you enter around the building.
Absolutely. I've had
People make a blind left turn, yeah.
people have parked at the bottom because they don't know where to park, so they park at the bottom and they're walking up the right-hand side and there's a line of 3 and 4 cars behind them slowly going up. We need to deal with that whole entrance piece.
Well, the other-
Having that crosswalk painted that was done last year was a huge
It's
step.
a huge step, yes, but it's
Not
still-
enough, but
It's just not enough.
But then you have parallel parking of handicapped vehicles that are part of clogging up that area right in front of the, I mean, I'm not saying that there's anything to be done about it, but what I'm saying is.
There is.
It's, and they don't park close to the wall, they're out in the middle of the road half the time. And
Yes.
and
Yeah, it's definitely not ideal
not
at all,
ideal.
and in the winter, I cringe every winter.
Oh,
yes.
Really.
Yes.
So I think, you know, again, if we can figure out what steps we're gonna take, right? And
Right.
what's really, you know, maybe a timeline as well, like, you know, within 6 months, you can have X, Y, and Z, you know, within 3 years, you know, whatever it might be.
But, you know, I'd like
Yeah.
to look back at that report. I
Yeah,
think
I
they
would-
recommended like making the lower area the main entrance.
yeah,
So,
Oh, that was through this
Remember?
architect, yeah, yeah.
and you know, if you had that the handicap spaces could all be down on that first level, they'd come in and they'd use the elevator.
Right.
And that would solve a lot of those issues if we did that. And that plan actually outlined some things like that. And even at the time, they had cost in it, which I'm
Right,
sure.
right, yeah, right, obviously, but.
But I think we need to really look at even, you know, roof over the deck and things that are bigger. that we need to budget for with the town, because it does look like we're gonna be there a while.
Right.
And we should make it as safe and useful as we can.
Yeah.
So what I would like to do is I want to have us form several committees and have them work on projects like this and then come with recommendations. So I think maybe we should do that next month when we have, hopefully we will have more people here and so we can look at. And I want to check with Dorothy on what she feels are the biggest issues, but I think that is definitely one of them, is we have to do something about a lot of these issues. And I think Karen's input is pretty valuable too. Another thing we've discussed was like fundraising for the Friends. They need to get another source of fundraising other than just the thrift store. So they're going to be doing things other than just the thrift store.
I mean, I know this is not a Friends meeting, but we're sitting on, $250,000 plus of Friends money, right?
Yes. And they hope there's plans, and it's not up to me to disclose their plans, but they have plans to do more than they are currently doing.
Because I think, some of these are town issues, not necessarily Friends issues. People who contributed to the Friends, I don't think are thinking their money is going to be spent upgrading a town building. At least that's my opinion.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, but it's not up to me to discuss what the Friends are doing. If Mindy wants to come and talk about it.
Okay.
She's more than welcome.
Yep.
And then we wanted to look at updating the bylaws and some other documents. The bylaws, I think, were done in like the early 70s or something.
A long time ago.
And
Minis.
They were updated sometime
In 90,
Yeah.
there's one.
So we have
Like
new
84,
means of
85, 86.
communication.
And then
that aren't
11,
covered in
15,
that.
90,
Like
there's.
Zoom meetings
policy
aren't covered
procedure.
in the bylaws. Like things like that, just would be good to make sure that we have those types of things in there. And I had looked at, there was an older thing, some thing orders, I can't remember what you call them, but the thing from the select
A
board.
charge to the board.
Charge to the board that was on the web that originally said 13 members. I checked yesterday and it says 9. There's an updated one that says 9 people for this. So that's the official study.
How many we got now?
9,
9?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
with Elaine right now.
Yeah, Elaine.
Yeah.
Brought us to.
They may not all be here, but they're on the board and I can name them.
We're in compliance.
Name that committee member. We can do that.
Oh,
And then the big project I want to work on, and I need everybody's help on it, is I want to make a resource directory of all of the things that are available from the town for our seniors. And that includes everything, like the assessing department, because there's a lot of tax abatements and things that are available that people don't know about. The assessing department was up at the senior center the other day, and I think there were 5 people.
Yeah, not a ton of people came.
And there's senior exemptions and things like that.
There's also the Angel Fund,
Yeah,
which
that's
I know
awesome.
Christine has a lot of volunteers
Yep.
that they
I
could
don't know
apply
about that.
those hours to
Yeah.
help a senior who can't volunteer, right? Who
Yeah.
physically can't get out of the house.
I know a lot of the income levels are fairly low. So it leaves out a lot of people who could use it. And I think they were looking at what they can.
Yeah, Colleen,
what they
when
can.
Colleen and Alex were in the other day, we had briefly discussed,
Uh-huh.
the possibility, of,
Yes.
those volunteers that are already doing work, applying those hours for someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to suggest, I think that's a great idea, really great idea, that we also include some of the other services that are available in town to our residents.
I want to include
Okay.
like everything.
Not just town agencies, okay.
Yeah.
Cause, yeah,
And I also want it,
Like the pantry.
like the
or-
food pantry,
Yeah,
and all these. other
anything in
programs,
town,
How
right?
to get help with utilities, and that may be through lower Cape or through housing assistance. So
yeah,
that will
there's
help
so
our
much.
center.
But I think this is going to be a big project. And I envision that I've spoken very briefly, not really spoken, but had very brief communication with Jackie about us updating and having a website, and we've looked at kind of rebranding it a little. I don't wanna just go ahead, I don't wanna do the, like, ask for forgiveness thing on the website. I feel that this is not a situation for that. So I wanted to have a meeting with her about putting up a new website. But I wanted to include what programs are going on and stuff, so you and I need to talk about that.
What kind of a new website?
Huh?
What kind of a new website? You said.
Like a website on the
Well, like the
town.
library has their own dedicated
So a
website.
COA website?
We
Yes.
already
Okay.
have a link on the town
Okay.
page, but
I just didn't know what you meant.
But it's not very informative. And I think if we had it, it would list the services, and then it would also list the activities, and someplace where people could go and find out, like, what does the COA do for people?
Okay.
Right now, it's just kind of like where it
We're
is.
just part of a department on the town page.
Yeah.
So this would be a dedicated, have you been to the library's website?
No.
Check it out.
Yeah.
You'll get a
That's
better
actually something the rec department is trying to do also.
Yeah,
And then get their own sort of online services
yeah,
for registrations and stuff, so it kind of.
Dedicated rather than-
yeah. Yeah, we could
Right.
probably.
Yeah, it's pretty cursory. The one on the town website is pretty
Yeah.
cursory.
Yeah, it's very template, you know.
Yeah, it's like, okay, whatever.
Right.
It's hard, it's not totally, it's hard to navigate sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not, right.
Well, one of the things that was one of the recommendations that came out of the big survey from, it was like 2 years ago now,
2013.
was to rebrand ourselves.
Yes,
And
Right.
Wellfleet's what the adult,
The community center.
community center. Cause
Yeah.
when I went up there to visit, they kept slipping and answering the phone the wrong way because they just been doing it. But whether that should be done when we do this.
Yeah.
Just to, I mean, I think we've rejuvenated, through some of the exercise programs. We've brought in younger, older adults than originally envisioned themselves as coming to a senior center. And if we can
Yeah.
continue to rejuvenate ourselves, I think we're gonna have more, well, people will know about things before they need them.
Right.
And I think that would be really helpful because then you can say,
Well,
or they tell their neighbor, or, it's just.
your exercise program has gone a long way for that. There's a lot of people in town that would never use the senior center before that are, so similar sort of things,
right.
A lot of options for every age and every level.
But I think that we could also have a booklet that
I
would
do
need to
too.
be updated, and we can have people come in and discuss it in person too, which would probably be the least effective, but we could try to reach everybody in getting all of this done. So
I think it would be great. I think also like maybe once a month having one of those agencies in and talk about exactly what's
Right.
offered, right?
yeah,
And we could do that rolling because there's always new people, there's new programs being offered.
So coming to us or coming and meeting with.
at the senior center.
At the center.
Right,
Yeah.
That's what, yeah,
So, I mean, we work with Lower Cape Outreach, like they'll be here, this coming month, for a program, but specifically just talking about the services offered.
yeah.
Just a
And-
refresher, right? Like
Right.
to remind
And
people.
we could have links to other
There,
agencies
right.
on our website,
right,
as long as that's permissible. So
Yeah.
that we could have references to other people and things
Right.
like that, so that it could be a real place for seniors to go if they can figure it out. And
We're
Alex is
gonna
going to help us.
We're gonna help them.
You're gonna
So
make
that
it
it would
easy.
be a
It's gonna be
resource.
an easy site.
Right.
Exactly, that's what we need to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that,
Ease of
I'd like,
use.
if you guys could think about what would be the best approach for it, and then we'll figure out how we're going to navigate this whole thing, because I think it could be a big project, and I don't want to do it all myself, which I have a tendency to do,
Oh, good.
except for sending out materials important to the meeting. I don't do that.
Yes.
So that's one.
That's my
And
job.
then the really big thing is Halloween on the green. So Jackie contacted me and indicated how fun it would be for us to have a booth on Halloween on the green. And that we haven't been there before, and wouldn't it be great and fun if we were there
It's
this
very
year? So since I already own a costume, that's a pickle.
I was thinking of which.
No. And I object to the objectification of witches.
No.
I am a descendant of the first person hung it, or
I'm not objectifying, it's just
I am
part of
a
that.
descendant of Rebecca Nurse, so.
Yeah, but there is a Halloween thing for witches.
I'm very sensitive, Richard, so please. So I said, yes, we would do it, and I would like some help with it, and I am perfectly willing to go there as a solo pickle and do this.
Okay,
I have made a fool of myself before, and I'm willing to do it again. But if anyone would like to join me,
Going as pickle.
and I need to have, I don't know if we want to put that in the minutes. I could go as Tweedledum, or, yeah, I could just go with something else. I don't want to commit to the pickle. But, so, I'm going to have a game. I picked out a game. I could drag my poor husband into this, who gets dragged into so many things.
Poor guy.
And then just get the whatever. But if someone would like to join me making a fool of themselves on the green, there's gonna be a lot of other people there
Yes.
doing this. I will not be alone.
I do it for the food
Joanne
pantry
before
every
you.
year, so
Yeah.
I know, I mean, it is fun.
Yeah.
It is
It's
really
just,
fun,
but
and
you
it's
need-
only
you do
2
need
hours.
A couple of people to staff it, you know,
Yeah.
especially if they have a game going, but it's great.
Right, because the whole premise of it is, it's Halloween on Green and it's like trick or treat, trick and treat. So the children do a little challenge, or you have some sort of, you know, stick your hands in the witch's eyeballs that are grapes or whatever, you know, and then they get a piece of candy or whatever. The library's handed out books and stickers.
Yeah.
And we just,
Oh, cool.
October 26th. It is 3:30 to 5:30. The reason for those hours is because the Orleans stroll is going on. So we don't want to compete with them. We want people to come to go there, then to us. We open up the windmill. We have a child-friendly, tarot card reader, but she's kind of like a mystic and does fun things inside the windmill with the children. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
There's a
fun.
costume contest. There's a pumpkin carving contest. We have a DJ.
Would
That's
say,
fun.
would
It's
say
definitely
carving
fun.
it.
Say, well, you bring your carved pumpkin.
Oh,
You
okay.
carve it home. We take
I was gonna say.
We
I
take
can
the
see this
No
going there.
liability.
Yeah, yeah, it's very fun. Well, awesome, thank you, yes.
That would be great.
It's a great community event. Like last year was beautiful. We hang, an image on the window so people can do selfies in front of it. And I was watching people take pictures and do all this, and one lady said, this is like a Hallmark movie. Because you see all these children running around in their costumes and.
No,
Yes,
it's
it's
fun.
very.
It is fun.
Yeah.
That's kind of a safe place though. The traffic
Keeps
is,
them off the.
Yeah.
except for 6, the
Except for
traffic's
correct,
pretty
right.
slow.
And the police know about it, and they're involved.
It is fun, we've gone, I've
Yeah,
traveled
yeah.
before,
Yeah.
it's really,
Yeah.
it's a nice event.
So
They do
I
it.
think
Cool.
that's it for me. If anyone has any questions,
So, how
not
do you,
too personal.
it's not personal at all. So, you know, you sent out all the stuff on bylaws and recommendations from Mass Council, maybe whatever.
Yeah,
Our bylaws do need updating,
Yeah.
right? And we don't have to accept the MCOA ones as written. I think it says each.
I think
town
we
is-
can't, I think we need to accept the general
Premise.
flavor
Yeah.
and premise.
Yeah,
But I don't think we have to accept every single thing.
right.
Like, one of the big things in there that I objected to, and I think a couple of other people did, was that we would do like Dorothy's review. And that is, no.
Well,
That's
some of them do that, but that's gotta be part of the town's, what the town
Yeah,
wants.
that's not our job. That
Well-
would be
Well,
our job.
right, but the thing is that if,
That goes into like union and
Right.
all kinds of
I
stuff.
see, I see.
Yeah,
And I
But-
think that's more with a regulatory board,
well, what?
like a regular.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I saw that and I said, well, we don't do that.
So,
I don't wanna do that.
so I mean, I hope we could get to a 4 or 5 page set of governing, you know, our bylaws that are instead of the 40 pages in the mess.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So I
that's
just
sort of
wondered
a-
what our next step was to.
That's
do
just sort
that.
of like
Yeah,
a guide.
yeah, because ours are very out of date.
Yes. Yes, they are. I think they say we should wear dresses and pearls.
And do all
And
the,
touch
and it
them.
also says do all the PR, right? Which I'm sure you don't want us doing all that independent of you, so.
Yeah.
So I think we need to update them. So I just wondered what the next step going forward was.
I think when we get our new brand too, it'll be part of our messaging and marketing, you know, I think we'll have one voice right now. We can, you know,
Yeah.
support what we have as our mission, but.
Well, I think that's part of like maybe, I mean, I hate to keep saying we're gonna do a committee, but I think we need a group. And I've done 2 different bylaw changes in the last 2 years, and I'm really sick of bylaws.
Oh, but you're good at it.
I've done the
No,
North
not
Dakota
really.
one.
I was just like, yeah, that sounds fine.
Yeah, I know. They're a lot of work. And they
Right.
have to be filed with the state, right?
Right.
Yeah,
And there's legal stuff and all that.
but I mean, I think we need, yeah, we definitely need to go through them and update them for this century.
Yep.
So,
Okay, so
thank
that'll
you.
be a committee.
Yeah, another committee.
Okay, that's fine.
And I think there's several people who'll be in all of them, I think. Maybe we'll just have one committee. Okay, thank you all. So now we go on to the committee reports. Paula is not here. Linda, I'm volunteer.
No new volunteers at this
Okay.
point.
And Paula had nothing to report.
Okay then. Carol?
Part of the elder services, we had an August meeting, because they have now the scheduling, to only 6 times a year. And that's including the annual meeting, which is in May, which is actually not a meeting, it's just a combination of sort of like everybody getting together and sitting down and saying what's new. So the meetings are no longer gonna be in person because they are redesigning and renovating the whole entire building, especially the basement, and reassigning space. So now all the meetings, basically, we have a meeting in the basement is no longer assigned to us. So the meetings are gonna be back to Zoom.
Well, that's good for you,
That's
right?
nice news.
Less travel.
Well, less travel, but it's always nice, as I said, seeing people's faces
Yeah.
more or less in person and getting their body language and everything else.
I did that for a year with the credit union that I served on for 30 years, or a year and a half actually, when I moved here. And you do definitely lose a lot of the nuance of the meeting. You know, you keep up with things, but you're not participating the same way.
And being that these are now gonna be down to just 6 or actually 5, it's even gonna be one more thing. I also received, a letter of resignation that, not resignation, that the elder services received $1,000 donation from Eastham, and that was basically presented to the committee that I was there with Laura. She said every bit counts, but it was sort of like a little happy and not happy. They didn't seem that excited about the amount. At least that's what I got from the email.
Did that come from the friends, that
No.
contribution?
The donation came from actually the town.
It's through the human services.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm on that
So-
committee and that budget has not been increased in
They're
years.
struggling. I mean, we know they're struggling for funding elder services.
Yeah,
They're still going to try to go for 350,000 for next year's donations. I don't know if that fell into this year's or last year, for the coming year that's coming. Laura is very active on it. You know, again, they need the funds. They're trying to get the businesses in town to donate. Yeah, we had recommended to go to the Chamber of Commerce in order to do that. That seems to, they wanted people to go into the businesses, and I don't feel comfortable doing that,
yeah,
you know, as far as.
I'm
it
not
goes.
comfortable doing that either. I don't blame you.
It's really good.
It's hard to do.
And I felt sort of like, pointed. That
It's
was
just a shame they have to do that and they're not being funded by.
right. And it's just, you know, it is
It's
really a small
federal.
amount, and they do a lot, and,
Mm.
That's
I
good.
think donations are going down though, in general, aren't they? I think I've read that it's harder to raise money these days,
Yeah,
that there's so much more asking.
Except if you're the friends here.
Right.
They were held up as an example of one of the best in the state one day.
I know they presented to the town. I mean, they presented,
yeah, Laura and I,
part of.
But that money hasn't increased at all. In my experience, there's all these agencies who come in,
To repeat.
who are they're all wonderful agencies. There's nobody that's come in that we're ever like, what are they, crazy? And it's a lot of like the food pantries and things like that. And and humans, like different agencies who do wonderful things, you know, the housing places in Orleans and those, and where the money isn't increased by the town and everyone's asking for more. You know, it's like Sophie's Choice. What do we do? And how do you pick who's worthy and who isn't? Where do we cut? You know, and sometimes we get like $2,000 more. And how do we spread that out over 20 agencies?
I thought it was a very generous amount. I mean, you know, $1,000 to me is a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best we could do.
And
we struggle over it every year. It's hard to make those decisions.
Well, I think the sentiment too of a lot of people is that they're paying property taxes, and doesn't that cover all these things? And why should I have to give more money and all this? I've heard that.
well, even the businesses here, I mean, to go into them and ask to give to elder services, they give to the Council on Aging, and they're very generous to it as far as it goes.
So they give to every single thing, too. I
Right.
mean, everything that goes on in town,
It's hard.
it's the
because it is
same businesses are asked to contribute to everything.
Right.
And most of them, I think, are incredibly generous. You know, like the gift barn,
But Bev,
the
I
things
thank
that I
you.
heard that they did.
I thank you for what was supplied.
There just aren't that
Yeah.
many
Elder
businesses
services.
in Eastham.
But I don't think many people even know about that committee. It's just kind of it's like a secret.
Yeah, it's a secret.
It's a difficult choice that we make every year.
And it is with the grants that are given to the, putting in, like I said, there were 13 that were selected for the grants, but only, I think there was 65 that had put in
Right.
for it. But I thank you personally. I thought it was a very generous gift.
Nice.
Is that it?
That's it for me.
Okay.
It's almost from.
Can I just do Cheryl's LGBTQ update?
Sure.
Yes, and she,
Yeah.
it's not in there.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so that committee, is meeting, well, the group has gotten off to a great start. It's very, between 10 and 12 people attend every meeting monthly. We have a committee that's planning activities. We're having a Halloween party, the Pride Halloween party at the COA on the 26th, 5th Friday night, the 25th. We love you all to stop in if you would, if you have time. But the volunteer committee is like really excited about planning events. And so we are going to, have food at this one, activities, music, decorations. We've opened it up to other, over 50 LGBTQ, people through the other COAs. Dorothy sent out a note and we'll be putting out, to get more participation.
50.
The last event we had, was very well attended and we expect this one to be more so. So people are excited about what we're doing.
That's wonderful.
You have a
Yeah.
costume picked out?
Oh, I know what I'm wearing. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Nice.
I have a costume. Anyway, and I have gotten, well, I hope I will be getting, I hope I pass the test, but ServSafe certified, so I can be the cook in the kitchen that can oversee prep of the food.
Oh,
So anyway,
Sweet.
we're excited. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
great.
I think it's gonna be a great event. And Cheryl, and I would love anybody to just stop in and see it if you can. It's 5 to 8. And, you know, you can't, we understand, but
And what's the date on that?
25th.
October 25th, Friday night, before, the day before Halloween on the Green.
You have, that's in the report.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we also have the tarot card reader witch coming to do. She's gonna be, we have a little booth set up in the corner where she's gonna do things. Yeah,
Oh, tarot cards.
yeah.
Is it the same territory?
I think
Yes, it is.
Yes.
You will die horribly.
But this
Also,
is
the Witch website is the
The
Witch.
Witch of Eastham.
Yes.
Anyway, she's very excited. about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So anyway, just wanted to tell you that that group has really gotten, you know, off, and thanks to the Friends for funding our activities, because that's how we're paying for this one. Thanks.
So we need to, oh, transportation, I think we have,
We don't have any updates on transportation.
yeah. So then we need to look at the Friends financial plan, which has been reviewed, and see if there's anything that we see that's missing, or any suggestions we have for additions, or
No.
if we don't, if we think there's too few fun nights out.
So have any changes been made since we've last seen this? Because we didn't get this ahead.
We
Okay.
did add, the Healthy Aging series under Health, Fitness and Wellness. We added same category, expanded hours, fitness, wellness classes. And we added the Zumba and the chair yoga. So we added some more fitness. And we added I don't think the LGBTQ was in there, so I think that's been added as well.
See that. Here? I'm not seeing that, but it's here, and I'm just not seeing it.
Years.
Don't see it.
She thought it wasn't here, but was added. She didn't get it done.
No, last time it wasn't there, and I thought we added it, but I'm
I
not
thought we did
seeing it
too.
here.
This is the.
LGBTQ.
I don't see it.
I don't see it either. It should have been added.
No, I see it here. Please make a note of it.
Well, that should be in there. My apologies.
So that would be added.
It's been 100.
So because we didn't get this ahead of this meeting.
Yeah.
You know, can we, and make sure more people have a chance to review it before we vote on including it?
Sure.
Thank you.
I'll resend to make sure that the,
Again, my apologies.
It's
for
okay.
not-
Not enough people here anyway. I think everybody should have, more people should have a chance.
Yeah.
to go through
Yeah.
it.
the Friends will meet, October. No, they switched some stuff,
Now switch your date to the 31st for our next meeting.
Yeah, everybody.
October 16th
Right.
Oh, good.
is the next Friends meeting. So, I know that there's been sort of votes outside the meeting, so it can be approved by that date by the board, so that it can be officially submitted.
16.
October 16th, yeah.
So we need to look at this and get back to.
Sure.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were Rich.
Dorothy, you put it together, right?
Yeah, but I can, you know,
Okay.
usually the chair sort of spearhead,
Yeah.
so,
Okay,
I'll get the comments and
okay,
yeah.
aggregate them and.
okay.
Now, the extended hours fitness, that's a proposed class.
Yes, it's not happening right now.
Wendy tried to do that once and it didn't fly, but
Right.
hopefully.
Yeah, kind of a work in progress.
Yeah, and we
That's
have
like
had
after hours.
very preliminary discussions about maybe having some things after hours or on weekends.
Great.
And it depends on Dorothy's comfort level. And what it might be is having someone from the board of directors or somebody at the senior level of the Friends there with a key, and that person being responsible for walking up. So we have to see about that. If we're going to have people who are willing to do that on a regular basis, somebody who can commit to it, because that would be a lot for somebody to say every Saturday I can be there and do that, especially if people are depending on a class.
Right.
So we have to investigate those possibilities and see.
Excuse me, Beverly, is there anything that we have to,
Vote on?
actually vote on? Because I have to.
I don't believe
fully
so.
apologize.
No, I think we're pretty much finished.
Okay,
Yeah, I think we're just going to have discussions and stuff,
okay.
but thanks, Karen.
Thanks, Karen.
Oh, thank you so much. It's getting cold in here.
It is freezing in here.
I have a hot seat there.
A hot seat for sale?
This is to toughen you up for the weather to come.
No, I think it's to shorten the meeting.
Yeah.
I think,
That's pretty short, it's 10:30, we're doing good.
I know. Probably because of all the stuff I forgot.
I have a question.
So are all of the, you were talking a while ago about having representatives from different town agencies do presentations at the senior center. Are all presentations being recorded at this time that would be available?
The
As a
hybrid ones.
But not
we are-
everything then.
We're zooming, so
Okay.
we're recording.
So I was just thinking if everything was recorded, then there was a directory of things that you could look back on, like, gee, I'm wondering about the DPW and the plowing policies or something, and somebody came, that you as a person could then bring it up, but everything isn't recorded, just
Not everything.
classes.
And I also asked Devin to record other programs, like he's coming today to do, that is a hybrid, but he's gonna come with his camera, actually. He does such a nice job for production, and, the Zoom's great, but it's always nice to have that extra, production quality, so whenever he can, he comes and records, that
So
would be
good.
part of it. There's so much more we can do with it, it's just the time, and it's just time. Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to bring up?
I don't. I was going to bring up the Halloween on the Green, so thank you for bringing that up.
Okay.
We will have another event though, in December. We partner with the Visitor Services Board, the VSB Board. We did our own Light the Night sort of party at tea time. We're combining with them for Carols on the Green, so it'll be one event. That is the first Saturday in December, which I believe is December 7th.
It is.
Yes, and so, we were bringing, the Rec and Beach Office will bring their gate shacks up to the green. And then we're looking for different businesses, organizations, groups to decorate a gate shack. So that information will be coming out, so if the Friends or the COA board can do, that'd be fabulous. And then the only other thing which you sort of touched about in your building and maintenance sort of stuff, I have a Boy Scout that has reached out to me, an Eagle Scout, looking for a project. So I don't know if you were talking about the decking or something like that we can talk
Yeah.
about that.
Do you know his timetable?
I can get further details,
Fairly.
but it's not.
Oh, it's not.
I think he needs it in a year or two, so I mean, it
Oh,
could
okay.
be, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, but I can get all the details, but I thought of, you have some stuff, like I know your gazebo just got redone, but like, cause they've done in the past, they've built lifeguard stands for the rec department. I believe your son was involved, right, in the dugouts, was he part of the dugout redo?
I think so.
You're-
They all help each other.
Yeah,
So that
yeah.
wasn't his project.
Okay.
But,
Yeah.
they all
They've
help.
done gate checks for us, they've done walkways for us.
Cool.
And I do apologize for not being around, no excuses, my dad was very sick this summer, so I'm glad to be back and seeing all of you.
We didn't meet all summer.
I know, and I did see that, so, but I missed the June one.
It all worked out.
Okay, so if no one, does anyone have anything else?
Is there anything that the Friends want to report?
No, I think at this point. So if there's nothing else, should we adjourn? Shall I move to adjourn? So do we want to say yes or no, or maybe moving?
I'll second it.
Okay. Everyone want to yes or no?
Well, I think it's okay.
Okay. So, well, we don't have a quorum, so we can't really vote on it, but.
That's right. Oops, that's.
But yes.
It's a declaration.
Carolyn, yeah.